The impact of new technologies on the worker and the workplace. New technologies, and the way they are being implemented, are increasingly viewed as having a potentially destructive effect on the workplace, and the morale of workers in large sections of the economy. This is in keeping with the advent of the flexible labor market, which has turned labor into a disposable variable. Technology has always been a two-edged sword, as it could serve the twin purposes of aiding the production process for the worker, as well as threatening the livelihood of that same worker. However, the fusion of technologies of the Fourth Industrial Revolution represents a paradigm shift in the relations between labor and technology. New technologies have been divided into two groups: sustaining and disruptive technologies. Sustaining technologies are those that slowly improve existing technologies. Disruptive technologies are new innovations that create new markets which eventually displaces existing products and technologies. Examples of disruptive technologies today include blockchain, 3D printing, the Internet of Things, artificial intelligence, gene editing and autonomous vehicles. These examples show that multiple disruptive technologies are converging at the same time. This will have a negative impact on the availability of jobs as automation becomes the norm. Automation is especially leading to de-skilling. This means that it is undermining and replacing the skilled labor and job security of workers. By contrast, some managers claim technology only leads to upskilling. This refers to the process of freeing workers from mundane, labor-intensive tasks, so they are free to pursue more challenging roles. However, disruptive technologies are also affecting the workplace in other ways. For example, the introduction of ever more sophisticated monitoring technologies in the workplace has, among other things, eroded the worker's right to privacy. These new technologies include biometrics, DNA testing, and the use of Facebook and other social media sites. These can be mined for information on employees, and enable employers to collect productivity and health data on workers with their supposed consent. What is distinctive is that employers can now monitor their employees, both inside and outside the workplace. This can be done through social media, and a growing network of personal records and data such as phone apps, electronic sensors, wearable fitness trackers and facial recognition systems. This represents a step change, in that it is now not only blue-collar manual jobs that will be at risk but white-collar jobs as well. Consequently, jobs that were once the specialized preserve of skilled, university-educated professionals, will also be replaced by the approaching technological wave. This is in keeping with the inherent, creative destruction of today's capitalism, in that its own creative and innovative success could be its undoing. From this perspective, capitalism is not predicted to fail because of economic failure, but rather from the consequences of its own success, which undermines the very social institutions which protect it. Therefore, arguably, middle-class progress was one of the key factors that prevented trade unions and blue-collar workers from bringing about significant institutional change in capitalist societies. This explains, for example, why the middle classes in Britain were content to support Margaret Thatcher in her reduction of the country's manufacturing industry in the 1980s. Her policies were benefiting the middle classes, while allowing the social mobility of blue-collar workers to join the middle class. However, it is now the sheer creative technological success of neoliberalism that is causing the same threat to white-collar, service industry jobs as well. One technology of surveillance that has become popular in recent years is the introduction of performance monitoring in the execution and achievement of preset targets by employees. This form of monitoring is meant to improve efficiency, while preventing workers from deliberately working slowly, or attempting to sabotage the production or work process. Its impact in a range of professions such as education, healthcare and policing has been to place an undue value on reaching specified targets, over and above other equally important aspects of the job or profession. This has the effect of demoralizing staff, who feel they are only chasing targets, rather than doing their jobs in a holistic and caring manner. New surveillance technologies such as cameras, point-of-sale technologies, magnetic active badges, pen registers, and telephone recording devices allow employers to exercise a new form of control. This implies their inherent distrust of their workforce, which is in itself oppressive and demoralizing. In like manner, employees today are never sure when they are being watched, and it is this very uncertainty that helps order their behavior. Technological advancements are therefore being pursued, with the aim of creating a work environment where, as few workers as possible, are actually needed. At present, that technology is being used to keep tight control over an insecure workforce, that is increasingly being required to be ever more productive for less remuneration. This is leading to growing levels of alienation, in which work has become merely instrumental, rather than being a source of purpose and fulfillment. The nature of the eventual outcome is obvious, as governments of developed states increasingly plan on instituting a national income. This is based on a scenario in the future, when robots and other forms of artificial intelligence and technology will be able to efficiently, and cost-effectively, do many different types of work. In such a future, either the same technology can also supply human needs, or the concept of work and the workplace could become redundant, in a world of global unemployment and poverty. It goes without saying that COVID has accelerated the process of automation. During the last 18 months, many companies have turned to digital technologies and robotics to meet demand, while employees have been forced to work from home. It is estimated that in 2020, around 2/3 of corporations globally had accelerated their use of AI and automation during the pandemic. It is unlikely that this will be reversed, as people return to work in a post-pandemic world. Coronavirus may, therefore, have accelerated a process that was always going to happen. The question for 2021 may therefore be: are we ready for the brave new world of automation that is overtaking us? Only time will tell how quickly we can adjust to these new realities.